All right, you guys, welcome to our call. It is October 13th already. I can't believe this month is like halfway over. Been going way too fast. So I'm gonna just skip through the announcements and all that. I've been posting our recognition in our team group page. Lately we haven't had too much in the way of rank advancements or success club points. So hopefully that'll change the last half of the month as we go into Core de Force. I hope you guys are promoting that or starting to promote that at least after. I would almost recommend you wait until after the Badass Bootcamp launches, because you want to get your Success Club points in before you start promoting something that really won't hit hard until next month. So if you start promoting Core de Force now, that's great. You just kind of want to breadcrumb it, but it really won't drive sales until November. So what you don't want to happen is for people to say, well, I'm just going to wait until November to buy my challenge pack because, I'm waiting for Core de Force because you think it's so cool. So you almost want to hold off a little bit on that. I've been breadcrumbing it a little bit, like a post here and there, oh, that's my dog. Sydney, can you get Penny? Okay. So, I did an event page for Core de Force, and I would totally recommend you guys do that. Invite all your prospects, all your friends, breadcrumb it. But when it comes to your inviting, don't start inviting for it just yet. Wait until you have your Success Club 5 at least to do that. And with Badass Bootcamp coming up, all you need is 3 people to join. I've been incentivizing people with the tank top. You can do that if you want to. Otherwise, the book, I believe, is only about $9 on Amazon. So that's another great incentive. If you're making a $40 commission to give away a $9 book, it's not that much. And it gives people so much more value going into the challenge group. So with that, I'm going to start talking a little bit about creating winning social media posts. And I'm kind of backtracking a little bit. Most of my calls that I've been doing lately have been for the coaches that have been around for quite a while. Some of our topics are a little bit more advanced, but when we really dial it back, we need to be working on those 3 vital behaviors. And the first and foremost, after doing your workouts and your clean eating and all that stuff is social media posting. So we really want to delve into what makes a good post. What is the purpose behind the post? Why are we taking so many selfies and all that kind of stuff? So hopefully, some of our newer coaches will be watching this and it'll give them a great start and just kind of give them a solid foundation on what to post when they start posting on social media. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. I do have some slides. I like my slides, but I didn't have a chance to get them all done tonight. So I'm just going to kind of go through them quickly. I was hoping to grab some more examples of really great posts, but instead I think what I will do is post some of those within our team group page a little bit later on. So first of all, where to post. Because so many of the groups that we do are on Facebook, up until the My Challenge Tracker app, everything that we did was on Facebook. Almost all of you guys had a Facebook profile coming into coaching. Facebook is number 1. I don't want you to ignore it and get distracted by the bells and whistles of Instagram and Snapchat. Although they're fun, they probably won't drive your business the way that Facebook does. So if you are uncomfortable posting on your own Facebook profile, as I was when I first started coaching, I just didn't know that I wanted to put myself out there in such a way. I created a group and a like page almost immediately when I started coaching. So I want you to either pick one or both or do your Facebook profile, but Facebook really is a must. If you're going to choose between one and the other, I guess the differentiation for me is like pages are really great to reach your cold market. So if you're struggling with getting new people involved, you can create a Facebook ad and boost it. It's going to cost you a little bit of money, but I just think of that as investing in my business. I've got some really great ads that I'm running right now. One is for an Aldi clean eating meal plan, and I pay 3 cents per click for that. I end up getting a ton of likes, about 200 likes on my like page every week from that one ad. So it's totally worth it for me. Now, groups are another great way to leverage your Facebook presence. And what I do with my Facebook group and why I kind of like that is I have a place to funnel people if they choose not to buy a challenge pack from me. It gives them something concrete that I can say, I will add you to my group. Even if they don't purchase something, they can still get my support and my coaching. So that's where I put all the people that say, oh, you know, I really want to buy Country Heat, but I don't need Shakeology. I don't want to do it. And despite my best efforts to convince them that it's worthwhile, they still say no. I'll say, that's fine. I'll put you in my Facebook group. That's for all my clients, regardless of whether you purchase anything or not. So it is nice to have a group to add someone to. You can tell them it's a closed group. It's only for clients, you know, where the Facebook like page is a little bit more public. So there are definitely advantages to one or the other. Now, once you get beyond Facebook, I really don't want you to get too involved in other social media platforms unless you have the time to really stay consistent with them. You really have to be posting at least 2 or 3 times a day to stay consistent. Otherwise, people, you know, they'll think you're flaky, they'll think you're sporadic, and you don't want that to happen. So, I mean, I use Facebook and I use Facebook for my business. I use Instagram and Snapchat basically just for fun. And for me, the way I look at those social media platforms is they're not necessarily business builders, but they do help my clients and my customers get to know me better as a person. So I'm not really pushing Beachbody too much on any of those things. But if, for example, a challenger sees me on Snapchat or Instagram, it is consistent with what I do on Facebook. They won't feel like I'm doing anything out of the ordinary. I mean, I am who I am. So I might push Beachbody a little bit more on Facebook than I would on those other social platforms. But like I said, I would go with Facebook for sure and definitely concentrate on that. But if you do have a little bit more time, pick one more. And it really could be, you know, where your demographic is. You have to ask yourself, you know, for me, you know, I'm in my 40s. My people really weren't on Snapchat right away when I first started coaching. I still don't have very many friends on Snapchat. Even Instagram, I think, is kind of more geared towards like the 20 and 30 something people. I do get a lot of traffic through Pinterest though, because I've been on Pinterest for a while. So you really have to consider where your demographic is when you decide on your social media platforms. Yeah, Kristen's on the call. Yeah, Kristen, I'm going to probably turn it over to you in just a few minutes here when I run out of steam, and maybe you can talk a little bit more about how you use social media. And what I love about Kristen's posts, if you guys have seen them, is she's very good at branding, and she just has a very good, clean, and visually appealing way of doing her posts. So I've got a few examples of how not to do posts, and she is like the polar opposite, because she is very clean and almost like simplistic in her posts, but they're good because you want to read them and look at them. So I'm going to move on a second. So when we're posting, we really have to think of the purpose. Why are we posting? Why do we tell coaches to post 3 to 5 times a day? It seems like overkill at first when I heard that. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. That's crazy. But you have to remember that just because you're posting 3 to 5 times a day doesn't mean that everyone is seeing all those posts. In fact, they're probably not seeing, you know, maybe they see 10% of them, if that, if they're even on social media to see them. So what to you might seem like overkill is really very necessary for people to even see your posts at all. So that's why the 3 to 5 comes into play. Beyond that, what I want you to think of when you post is, what are you doing? Are you informing or educating or explaining something to your readers? You're entertaining them or engaging them. We don't post just to post. I want you to always have a purpose behind what you're posting. And it should be one of those 3 things. I was trying to think if there are any more purposes out there, and there could be. Maybe I've just forgotten some of them. But for me, those are the main ones. And through that, you want to show people the real you. You want to be vulnerable. You want to show them your struggles, tell them your stories, take them on your fitness journey, what's going on in your mind. And you want to brand yourself, you guys. You don't want to use stock imagery, because you are branding the Stacy Vinden and the Melanie Schofield and the Beck Hubbard. That's what you are branding when you do your posts. You're not a spokesperson for Beachbody. You are your own personal brand, because there's so many coaches out there. People can get Beachbody products anywhere. They can get them on Amazon, eBay. They can borrow them from their neighbor. You guys have heard all these stories about, oh, I don't need it, I have it already. So that is not your selling point. Your selling point is you, and what do you have to offer, and how can people relate to you? And if you aren't open with yourself and your story, people won't choose you as a coach, because they won't know the real you. So that's why it's really, really important that you use your story and your struggles and your victories and all that good stuff to connect with the people that you're talking to. And I know that, I'm not sure if Karen's on the call here. Is she? Oh yeah, Karen, I'm going to unmute you, because I love your writing. And in our little Team Crazy Train group that we're doing right now, you mentioned that you loved writing. And I think that that is definitely a skill that you should leverage. And I just took a teeny tiny screenshot of a post that you did. But this is just one thing. If you guys follow Karen, something she does very well is she really tells her own personal journey in a very effective way. And she uses her own photos along with them. So I just wanted to compliment you and tell you you're doing an awesome job, and anyone on the call should probably look at you and see what you're doing. So did you have anything to add to that? Like, because you're the expert at this, so tell people what you do.
I don't think I'm an expert at it. I love to write. My journey is very special to me. It comes from my heart. Mm-hmm. So that's where I speak from. I've loved to write my whole life, and to be able to put my journey into words and to put it onto Facebook and help other people, it's an amazing experience. I can't speak of it enough.
And you know, like, that just makes me happy to hear you say that, because I can tell when you write a post, I can tell that it comes from the heart. I mean, it's so obvious to me. Yeah. And I'm a writer too, and this is almost like a lost art that I've rediscovered as a coach through writing these posts. Like, I know that I've done a really good post if it almost brings me to tears. Like, yeah, like, yes, this is it. Like, this is what makes me emotional. And, you know, quite truthfully, I don't have that much time to write a post that's that compelling every single day. But I try to write at least a few times a week, something like that, that is truly genuine and from the heart. And I know Karen does a good job of that too. And I sent Karen a little message today, and like, you know, like, you can really use this almost as like a journaling tool, or as something that you could pass on to your kids one day. Or like, for me, I'm like, oh, I could really write a virtual book and just post it and breadcrumb it on Facebook. Yeah. So that's kind of a fun way to look at how your posts are. You just really want to share the real you and what your story is. It's almost like a little mini memoir, right?
It is. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and it can be really fun. And you know what? Like, I know that we've all, I'm not going to pick anyone out here, but I'm going to just use myself as an example. Sometimes it is hard to put the real you out there, because when you're vulnerable, those are the qualities about you that maybe you don't like so much, that you kind of wish you could change. You hear that? My dog's playing ball. But, you know, like, you know, kind of like when it makes you a little bit uncomfortable to put it out there, you're probably doing something right. Because those are the connecting points, the points where you're like, oh my gosh, should I post this? Should I do it? Because it's kind of scary. Those are the times when people will really relate to you, because they'll be like, oh my gosh, finally someone said what I was thinking of. And you know what? You're not always going to make everyone happy. You might have some haters now and then. But if you're true to yourself, it really doesn't matter, because your true friends and the people that really care about you, they'll rally behind you. So, okay, we kind of talked about like the purpose behind the post. Now let's go on to like, what are we down to the nitty gritty? What do we need to post every day? And it really does come down to the 4 vital behaviors. You know, you have to prove to people that you're actually doing the workouts. and post pictures of them, and that you're drinking your Shakeology and you're eating clean and all that kind of stuff. But when you post these things, I really do want you to add value to them. Don't just post like a random picture. Oh, look at me. I did 21 Day Fix Extreme today. And it's hard not to do that because it's difficult to think of creative ways to present this each and every time you do it if you do your workouts every day. So just try to think of new and unique ways, like what's going through your head during your workout. Or did you try a fun Shakeology recipe? Can you talk about a superfood ingredient that is in Shakeology? How does Shakeology make you feel? Does it make you feel better than it did before you started? I would hope the answer would be yes. So that would be something that you could talk about. Just filter it in terms of your story. When it comes to workouts, you can totally talk about your non-scale victories. Like if you're finally able to do 5 real push-ups instead of doing, like 1 real one and 4 modified ones on your knees. That's a story. That's something that you can tell your readers. Little things like that. They want to be along with you on your journey. So the more you can add to that little picture that you're posting every day, the better. And the more personal and the more humble and vulnerable you are, the better off you're going to be. So clean eating recipes and tips, those go over very, very well. Recipes are huge. So if you guys are ever in a slump of what to post, just post a picture of what you ate. I mean, we're all eating every day, so that's a really easy one. When it comes to food pictures, you really kind of want them to be visually appealing. Try to put them like on a plain plate instead of something really busy. Natural light is always very good. You want your photos to be very simplistic and kind of uncluttered, especially when it comes to food. One thing that I've noticed too, as far as engagement goes, if you post a photo of your food and don't share the recipe, people will be like, oh, share the recipe, share the recipe. So in a way, you're better off not posting the recipe right away and waiting until, 4, 5, 6 people ask for it, because that will give Facebook a little bit more oomph for your post. Facebook will think that your post is more popular because people are commenting on it. It's called EdgeRank and affinity and all that kind of fancy Facebook jargon. But basically, you want more people to like and comment on it, and that's just kind of one trick that you can do with your recipe posts. Of course, we want to be posting invitations to our challenge groups all the time. And one big mistake that I see people, especially new coaches, doing with their invitations is they use too much stock imagery. You always want to get your own photo out there. You always want to be like the star of the show, as uncomfortable as it might make you feel. And I look back and I still don't like looking at photos of myself. But when I first started, I could not bear to take like a selfie. Like I would just cringe. I'm like, oh my gosh, I look horrible. Like it took me a long time to get over that. And the more often you practice, the better off you'll be. I have this, I don't know if you guys can see me, because I'm sharing my screen, but I have a Lumi case for my iPhone, which gives it a really nice like makeup art vanity table glow. It's called Lumi case. I'll show you when I stop sharing the screen. But filters are great if you don't like your wrinkles, if you want to smooth out some patches in your skin. Insta Beauty is great. Snapseed. There are tons of filters you can put on your photos if you really hate the way you look, and I totally can relate to that. So a few other things that you could be posting is what you're learning in your personal development. If you find a really awesome quote in a book that you're reading, take a photo like from, maybe it's a sunset in your backyard, or maybe it's your dog or whatever. Like if you're going to use photos that aren't yourself, at least make sure they're relevant to something in your life, and talk about like what that quote meant to you or something like that. You don't want to just use, there's tons of motivational quotes out there on Pinterest and whatever, and it's all stock art. And some of them are really cool looking, but the more personal you can make them, the better they're going to be. It's just going to connect you to your readers that much more. Another thing that I see that most of you guys are not doing nearly enough are the coach life posts. And I know I'm really kind of like lumping you all into the same category, but you need to be breadcrumbing the coach opportunity every single day. Every single day. I'm going to say it again. Every day. If you want to attract coaches. And I know that most of you are struggling with recruiting right now, but ask yourself, when was the last time you posted about what you liked about being a coach, about sharing the opportunity, about our upcoming sneak peeks, about, like just the fun little stuff, the fun swag we get in the mail when we hit Success Club. That's the kind of stuff that you need to be posting every day. Are you a better person now that you're a coach than you were before? And you know what? When I first started, I'd be like, oh, come join my team. And I look back at some of my posts and they were really, really horrible. And now that I've been at it a while, it's much easier for me to channel that inner creative writer and just talk about my life before and after coaching. It's a little bit tougher for newer coaches to do that. But then you flip it around and you're like, I'm excited about coaching because of this, and this is what I'm looking forward to. And that's kind of how you would talk about coaching if you are a newer coach. But always, always be talking about what it means to be a coach. A lot of people are seeing your workout pictures. They don't even realize that you're a coach. They don't know what that means. And that's your fault if you're not explaining it. If someone decides they want to be a coach and they've finally discovered what this Beachbody coaching opportunity is, are they going to come to you? Do they even know what you do? A lot of you guys on the call, yes, I would say that you're doing a good job of putting it out there, but if you're not, it's just something that you want to be aware of. This happened to me too. Like in my first year of coaching, I had a few friends sign up under somebody else because they didn't know that I was a coach. And shame on me for not putting it out there. So ask yourself, are you putting it out there? Because if you're not, your friends are going to go to someone who is. Before and after pictures do very, very well on Facebook, the Transformation Tuesday. If you don't have any photos of yourself, and do try to use photos of yourself as often as you can, but you might not have an amazing transformation. I don't have a very good transformation, to be quite honest. So I kind of do a lot of stuff about how I was in my 20s as opposed to how I am in my 40s, because I feel like my transformation came more from the inside out. It's not as obvious on the outside, but it's okay to use pictures of your challengers with their permission. It's okay to use pictures of other coaches that are willing to share. Right now, we've got tons of great before and after pictures from the Core to Force transfer or the test group. So those are all available on our team group page. I believe I added a bunch of those. So if you don't have anything to post, just grab some of those, but don't do the ones that are so stock imagery or canned Beachbody stuff. Try to find the ones that look like real people and not some slick marketing ad, because you don't want that. It looks too advertising or too salesy. So another thing that you should do is when your coaches under you hit a great milestone, if they have rank advanced, if your challengers have achieved something awesome, then you should definitely shout them out too. That's a wonderful thing to post. So I've kind of hit on this a little bit about what not to post in our conversation so far. But one thing I do want to mention is make sure your Facebook profile itself is Facebook friend or coach friendly. And I pulled this picture. This was from a friend of mine. And her baby is adorable and the scenery is great, but if you didn't know who she was, you would have no idea what she looks like. I see a lot of people posting pictures of their kids or their pets or them with a group of 3 other women, and you have no idea who it is. Even when I start to announce new coaches sometimes, if there's someone that I met online and I don't know who they are, I'll go to their Facebook profile. It's really bad if I don't even know what they look like. So make sure that you have a picture of yourself as your own Facebook profile picture. Another common mistake that I've seen a lot of coaches do is I see a lot of people clutter their posts. They cram those collages in super deep and to the point where people don't even know what to look at. So you want to make the focus very clear and simple. Collages are okay from time to time, but when you use a collage, make sure that it still looks pretty visually simple and not distracting. You can kind of use your own judgment on that, but I would say less is more when it comes to collages. In most cases, you're going to be better off if you have 2 or 3 pictures, posting them all separately. Don't use stock imagery. Like this little ad here is horrible. Oh, I'm going to go back up again. You know, like it's the picture of the 21-day fix challenge pack. There's a price right there. There's like the Beachbody canned before and after picture. I mean, never do that, you guys. Use your own transformation story. If you want to post a picture of the pack with the containers, make sure you're holding it or doing something like that. Just this example here is way too salesy. You don't want to do anything like that. Make it more personal to you. Okay. All right. I think I hit that one. So winning ideas here. Here's some easy wins for you guys if you're wondering what to post. And Denise, are you on the call? I don't know if I see you or not. I'm scrolling through. I loved this one that Denise did a little bit ago because it was, I need your input. And she was going to jury duty and she was wondering what to wear. And she got tons of engagement with that one. Anytime you do that, and see, this doesn't all have to be Beachbody related, you guys. It could be something as simple as what to wear, parenting questions, you know, where most of us, our demographics skew towards people that have kids. You know, what would you do if your kid got a bee sting or something like that? Just asking simple questions that prompt engagement is a good idea. Okay, so meal plans always do really, really well. And I'm posting this picture of my Aldi meal plan because it is my #1 Facebook post ever. Look at that. Look at it. I don't know if you can see the reach below there. This is the one that I pay to post. I pay 3 cents a click on this one, which I feel is super cheap. It's reached like close to 400,000 people. And so whenever anyone likes it, I invite them to like my page. I get about 200 likes a week just from that one little menu plan. So if you guys want an easy win, make an Aldi menu plan. It's not that hard. You don't even have to have an Aldi nearby because Aldi pretty much has all the basic food. Just call it an Aldi meal plan. As long as you can get the stuff there, you're good. Another one, like I was saying before, recipe posts do really well. This was one I just talked about, like my morning staple, what I eat all the time. You know, it's kind of a boring picture, but you know, it was like the quickest one I could find to show you guys. And that's it. I got through this really quickly. And trust me, you guys, I could have thrown up so many more examples for you with this, and I will post more of them in our team group page. But hopefully this, you know, especially for the newer coaches, gave you guys something to think about. So I'm going to stop the screen share and maybe we can just start a dialogue and see what you guys want to talk about. Ginny says, how do you invite someone who is not your friend to like your page? Well, anytime someone likes a post, and maybe I will go back to the screen share. I'm going to pull up my Facebook page, and then I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about, because when you boost an ad, or you don't even have to have a boosted ad. This can be on any Facebook like page post. Okay, here's my Beach Ready Now page. So let's see, I'm going to go down to one of my posts that I did. See if it got any likes. Okay, so if I click on the people that like it, okay, so you can see right here that these 3 have already liked the page, and this one is invited. So I've invited her to like the page. She hasn't done it yet. What's wrong with her? Okay, so I'm going to go down again. I'm going to try to find one that has, okay, here's one that has, okay, so look at this. Okay, so this one has, these people liked that post. This one's invited. These people have all liked my page, but look at this one. She's actually a coach on our team. She hasn't liked my page yet. So I'm going to invite her. So she'll get that little invitation to like the page. So basically, anytime you post and someone likes your post, you can do that. You can also go into your friends list. Let's see who else, if I haven't done it. See, I just go through these posts from time to time to make sure that everyone who likes my stuff has been invited. The one thing I would tell you, though, is I don't invite other coaches to like my page. Oh, this one, there's probably going to be a whole bunch here. Yeah, okay, here's another Aldi one. tons of people like this one. So I just kind of scroll down. Okay. She doesn't look to be a coach, so I'll invite her. Scroll down. See, like, look at another winning post, Aldi meal plan. And the thing is, this Aldi meal plan is not new. This is something that I blogged about months ago, but I do bring these posts back from time to time. I'm going to go and invite all the people that like this post that haven't liked my page yet. That's kind of fun. So yeah, meal plans, post them on your like page. You'll get tons of engagement. The reason why I don't invite coaches is because they're not my target market. If you're a coach, you're in someone else's challenge group and you've already joined someone else's team. So not that you're not welcome to like my page, but I'm not going to invite you. So now like this one, if they have a mutual friend and I see that that mutual friend is probably a coach, then that tells me they're probably under somebody else. So I'm going to skip them. So yeah, like I spend a lot of time just going in, okay, I know those two people, they're not coaches, so I'm going to invite her. And it's really kind of funny to see who ends up liking your posts. Sometimes they're people that you know, and sometimes they aren't. Okay, so I'm going to stop the screen share. Does that answer your question, Ginny? Yours only says ban. Okay, if you could show me a screenshot of that. Are you talking on the post when people actually like them? Because that's what I was pulling up. Okay, well, if you guys want to share your screenshots with me later, I can help you with that. But what you have to do is you have to go on the individual post and click on the section that says who liked them. If people didn't like your post, you won't have that option. And it's not in a group, it's on an actual Facebook like page. So maybe that's, I'm not quite sure. Yeah, and I am on a desktop, not on an iPhone or on a mobile device, so I can't tell you how it works on there. I do most of my work from my desktop. Does anyone else have any other questions? Or do people have examples that they want to share of posts that they've done that have been very popular, or like a winning post? Anyone have anything?
I would just second that. Anytime you do a before after is always a win, even if people don't like it or comment on it. I don't know why, but I was really resistant to do a before and after. And so I finally did one for my birthday. My birthday was back in May. And I was meeting with somebody last week, and he was talking about, and I just remember, I never would have thought you were a bigger person before, but now I can see you understand my struggles because you did that, before and after. And I was like, wow, like, number one, that a dude remembers it. And number two, that he's been hanging on to this since May. So, I would use it sparingly. I wouldn't do before and afters like every week. But that definitely, I get the most engagement off of that. And then recipes, and be real about your recipe too. Like, talk about like, oh my gosh, I came home and I threw everything that was in the refrigerator in a pot, and all of a sudden magically there was this delicious soup, or something like that too. So.
Yeah. I love that. That's so true about the before and after. And it does, like, sometimes you don't even see your transformation until you take those pictures and put them side by side. Because like mine, it's so funny because a lot of people have said you look different, but I haven't lost any weight. Like, if anything, I probably weigh more than I did 5 or 10 years ago. But I know my body fat, my body composition has changed, so I look different. And it isn't until like I start talking about my story and how I was, 5 years ago as opposed to how I am now, that it really, it is more evident. And that's another reason too why I don't really talk about the scale too much. If you guys have, you've all been in my challenge groups, I'm like, ditch the scale. It means nothing. If the scale were to like tell me my worth, I'd be more valuable 5 years ago as a fat person, like a skinny fat person. I would call myself a skinny fat person because I had no muscle tone, but I only weighed like 105 pounds. It was crazy. Anyway, not to go down that path, but yeah, it is very, eye-opening just to put your before and after pictures out there. Yeah, what else are we going to talk about? Oh, Kristen, yeah, like I want to bring you back to the conversation in a second because your photos are so like, you are like the queen of word swag. Like you use word swag a lot, but they look so clean and crisp, and you have mastered the art of like the uncluttered photo. Like yours are very artistic looking. So do you have any tips for people on what not to do? Or I don't know.
I've definitely learned to use Instagram filters sparingly because I used to be drawn to more darker images, but what I found is that then what you're trying to tell gets lost because it's too dark. So I always go in and lighten up pictures. I love Word Swag because Word Swag has an option where you can brighten or darken the image. And I typically, if I start out with 3 pictures, I end up going back to 1. It is hard to edit down sometimes, but you're always better just using 1 picture instead of a bunch. Mm-hmm. So that, and again, that's come from just trial and error, you know, kind of seeing. And then if it's something that you're drawn to, just think about what are the images that you're drawn to from other coaches, or just even advertising that you're drawn to for like your favorite brands. That is a piece of you, things that you like kind of represents what your interests are. So why not have your posts look that way too?
Right. And like another thing that I've started doing on Instagram is if I see a post from a friend, it wouldn't even have to be a fellow coach or anything, but like something that I'm like, wow, that looks really cool. I'll screenshot it and just use it as an idea to come back to later when I'm feeling stale. And, you know, if it's a photo that they took of themselves with a quote, then I'll just take a photo of myself and like add my own quote. So it's I guess it's kind of copying, but I feel like I put my own unique spin on it, so it seems original. And it's okay to do that stuff, you guys. You know, we aren't like all like coming up with original stuff all the time, but as long as you're putting your own photos and your own words to it, then it's you. Then it's totally fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Take inspiration from other people. We all do that. And even, I mean, I come from a background in marketing and business and stuff, and everybody does it, right? Nothing is a completely original idea. Somewhere it's been spawned from something else. What makes it unique is you putting your own spin on it with your own pictures, with your own explanation of what that awesome quote means to you. You know, you can see a quote that all of a sudden you're like, oh, dude, total truth bomb. So then write just a couple more sentences about why that spoke to you and why it made it real. So.
Yeah. And that why really helps people get to know you better too. All right. Anyone else have anything? Otherwise, I'm going to wrap it up because I need to go to bed. No? Okay. So just a couple of things before I log off. This weekend, you guys, I want to see you guys inviting to the Badass Bootcamp. Or if you, for some reason, are doing your own challenge group, make sure you get your invites out. That is so important. But it's not enough just to post an invite. Not enough. You're going to have to follow up with everyone that likes or comments on it. And you're going to have to reach out to people that haven't even commented on it that are kind of on your radar and say, hey, did you see my post about this? It would be a great fit for you. And then when they say, no, I didn't see it, then you send them the link to your post and just kind of start it that way. But, you know, if you want to hit Success Club 5 by Monday, or Tuesday, you're going to have to get 3 people. And I always say like 10 people for every 1 yes. So that's 30 invitations between now and Monday. And I know you guys can all do that. If you break it down as, you know, it's like you do 10 a day and you're good. That doesn't take that much time. So we've got that. We've got Core de Force coming up. Yeah, I think that's about it. There's a new initiative that Beachbody is trying in November. It's called Team Spirit. And I have never done this. Obviously, it's like a new thing for them. So I will be learning a little bit more about it so I can pass that on to you guys. I think we're going to join forces with Jessica and Kristen and another coach, Leah, that is in our Team Crazy Train group. And we're just going to call it Team Crazy Train because there are a whole bunch of us that kind of have our own little collective teams, and that's just kind of a name that came up at Summit, and we're kind of running with it. So I think that's what we're going to go with for what's it called even again? Team Spirit. It's not gosh, it's not Team Cup. I think it's Team Spirit. It's in the Coach Online office. So, yeah. Oh, and next week too, you guys, I won't be on the call. I don't know if I'll have a guest speaker or not. If anything, I might just refer you to another coach's call for next week. I'm going to be at the leadership convention. I'm so excited. Super excited. Like, I worked my ass off to earn this trip. So I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to work out with Joel and Jericho and take notes and bring back super, super great ideas and information to all of you guys. So leaving on Thursday next week. Yeah, but you will see plenty of me between now and then in the groups and kicking your butt and hopefully cheering you on and cheering us on as we race. Beck and Kristen and Jessica, and I think, is that it on this call? Running the race? Yeah, I'm so over running. Are you guys just sick of it? I'm sick of it.
I will say that running posts get a lot of engagement from people. A lot of people like my running posts. And then when they reach out to me, I'm like, no, running is terrible for losing weight. It made me gain weight. So I will actually probably post about that when I'm done with the half, is to just say, like, you know, my body is kind of beat up and I put on some weight because of the way you have to fuel. And it's a really delicate balance to have energy but not overeat when you run. So that would be a post that I would probably share, like that, you know, I want to get back to what's really made me successful at losing weight. I like that I accomplished something, but time to move on. So yeah, a lot of people kind of took a break from Beachbody this summer and they wanted to run their first 5K. And so I'm going to add people to the Run Walk Rock group, because I think that I can start talking about doing hybrid schedules for people. So I think that would be a way to, because people really believe running helps you lose weight, and I ran for years and didn't lose a pound. So I'll probably do a post about that.
Yeah.
But and just the thing I want to add about posting is to be different with all of your posts, right? So I will post something just off the rails one day about being a busy mom and not having any time for myself. And then I'll post something the next day about how great my workout feels. And I'll post something the next day about, you know, I don't want to complain, but having to buy all new clothes sure is expensive. And I actually kind of make a knock to people who think, you know, Shakeology is expensive. I'm like, first I made this tiny investment in myself, and now I have to buy a whole new closet worth of clothes or whatever. You know, I just try to go. And it's just every post attracts one new person that I've never seen like or comment before. And for those of you who are nervous about Facebook, I do recommend practicing on Instagram. So Kim's right. I don't build a ton of my business on Instagram, but I do get a feel for what I'm comfortable with. So sometimes I'll post on Instagram and I won't share to Facebook. And then sometimes I'll be like, yes, this is the magic one, and I'll go ahead and share it to Facebook. So if you guys are still leery of Facebook, you can do, you know, maybe 2 posts a day on Instagram and only share one of them just until you feel like, okay, I think I got it figured out.
No, Jessica, I was just remembering on another call we did earlier this summer how you were talking about the fear of being judged on Facebook. And you had, I wish I could remember exactly what you said, but you said something about the fact that, you know, people are posting pictures of this, that, and the other thing. And why wouldn't you post about Shakeology and Beachbody? And like, people are going to judge you anyway, so you might as well post what you want.
Right.
So, but how did you say that? You had a much better way of phrasing it than I just said.
Probably if someone can post a picture of their dead dog, then I can post whatever the hell I want about working out. Because I'm in that age, right, where, you know, we all went to college together, and we got a dog as soon as us and our boyfriends moved in together, and then we got married, and then we had babies, and all our babies are in kindergarten. So our dogs are 13 and 14 years old, right? So the women I went to college with, especially if they were a couple years older than me, I mean, it's like every other day. There's rest in peace, Buddy. You know, you were a great dog. And I'm like, oh my God, like Buddy can't read this tribute. But all right, you know, like whatever helps you get through it. So that's how, like, that gave me, like, I wouldn't post that, but it gave me personal strength and be like, you know what? They didn't give a second thought to posting about their grief. So why would I give a second thought to posting about my joy? And I'm very comfortable with the delete button. I've only had to use it once, and it was like just somebody that I knew from a race a long time ago that was a coach who probably didn't really make any money and just was disgruntled about coaching. So I was like, yeah, well, delete friend. So I think you guys should be careful. And I do message people if they're overly snarky on a comment, and I'll be like, hey, I know I like to joke too, but this is a real thing for me, and I appreciate your likes and your positive comments, and that usually shuts it down, right? Again, that has happened once or twice. So now it's expected. I mean, if I'm not posting once or twice a day, I think people start to wonder where I'm at. And so that's been an evolution. I didn't start that way. So you guys you don't have to go from 0 to 5 posts a day. Go from 0 to 1, and then go from 0, then go from 1 to 2, and then go from 1 to 3, and people will start to go, okay, I get it.
Mm.
Yeah, good point too about consistency though, because too, what I've seen, and I personally had done this in the beginning, like I would be like super jazzed one day and I'd post like 4 or 5 times. And then I'd get busy or other things would come up or I'd feel uninspired and I wouldn't post anything for like 3 days. And then all of a sudden I'm back again and then I'm gone. So if it seems overwhelming, like save your stuff and just do 1 or 2 a day, but be consistent. Maybe just change the time of day that you post. Like sometimes you're in the morning, sometimes you're at lunch, sometimes you're at night. That way you can get across other people too.
Well, and one cool thing about the Facebook like page is you can schedule your posts out. So I've already started to schedule some out for next weekend when I'm going to be gone, just as like a backup in case I don't get online and I don't feel like posting. That's kind of like my buffer. And it's free to do that. There are also third-party services that you can use, like Hootsuite, that will post to your wall or to a group or something like that if you really want to go that route. And I know a lot of bloggers, like maybe not necessarily Beachbody people, but when I did Mommy Savers, they would schedule all their posts out for the week. They'd sit down like on Sunday and bam, 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 they have them all scheduled out. And if that works for you, that's great. I don't really operate that way, but I know that, it works for some people. Yeah. Okay. All right. I think we're good then. Everyone. Yeah, go ahead, Kristen.
Totally flipping the switch. But when are you planning to do the ultimate reset?
Okay. I've been going back and forth. I think I'm going to wait until January. I really wanted to do it in November, but I was on a call recently with Melanie Mitro, and she's like, you can't do Core de Force and Ultimate Reset at the same time. She said you'd be too tired. And at first I thought, well, I'm really not going to be that tired, but I really want to give Core de Force my all. And then we're looking at the holiday season. And for me, I just think it would be too difficult to do the Ultimate Reset in December. So I think I'm just going to wait until January and do it along with, hopefully other challengers that would like to join me. So that's what I'm thinking. Are you thinking of doing it?
Yeah, absolutely. And
What's
I am
your
just
time
like,
frame?
I had originally thought I would do it in September with the 3-day or the 3-week yoga retreat, but then we had this marathon, then Core de Force, because oh hell yeah, I'm going all out on that, right? And then no way around Christmas. So January is perfect. And then my massage therapist too, she said January is the time of year that your body is supposed to be in hibernation and it's a good time for you to shed through all that stuff. So she's all excited about it and she might even do it with me too. So perfect. I was planning for January and I'd love to have more people do it with me. So,
well, count me in. And that's a cool post idea too. Just what she said, like your body does kind of go into hibernation. I never really made that connection between that and the Ultimate Reset. Very cool. Yeah. And we should be hyping that. If a lot of us are going to do that as a team, we should be talking about that and just set a date. Totally do it. And I was thinking of doing the 3-week yoga retreat with that. Because
and just doing, sprinkling breadcrumbs of, like all of a sudden doing a few more posts about doing yoga, dropping in a few more vegan recipes or vegetable-based or plant-based food, right? Because sometimes people get freaked out when they hear vegan. Yeah. So just say plant-based meals. Like I never thought, because I love animal protein. I'm a little bit nervous about giving that up, but it's 3 weeks, right? It's 21 days.
Yeah.
Not that bad.
Yeah, I
Good.
figured
I'm
I
excited.
could do anything for 3 weeks, right?
Okay, you say that until day 1.5 of 3-day
I
refresh.
know.
And
Well,
then
you
you're
know,
like,
I can barely get through 3-day refresh.
why isn't this called due day refresh?
Well, okay. The difference, though, that I see, Jessica, is with the ultimate reset, at least you get to eat food. I think what's hard about the refresh is it's too many shakes. I just want to chew once in a while, you know?
I don't know. I like the vanilla fresh or whatever. Yeah, I think it's just all I do is space out my food all day on 3-day refresh. I'm like, okay, time for one bite of carrots. And then I'm like, oh, has it been an hour yet? I can have one bite of apple. So my mom has done ultimate reset twice, and she has told me, like, don't do it with toddlers.
Really?
Like, this would not go over well in my market, because especially if you either work outside the home or you stay home with 3 and 5-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. My mom's like, you need to be able to rest when you feel like resting. And and really, like, there's a lot of prepping and planning, and she's like, you would pass out. So I'll do it in 13 years.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm not quite sure teenagers take any less energy, but it's maybe more emotional energy than physical energy.
Yeah, and when they're in school, you can take a nap during the day.
That's true.
And if you have a 2 or 3-year-old, or if you work outside the home, that does become a little harder.
That's a little problematic. All right. Okay. So January, ultimate reset. We'll do it.
I will share your guys' journey and invite people to it. I'll do 3-day refresh.
Yes.
I'll do 3-day refresh, like, on day 13, when I think it probably is about the hardest. Like, well, I think 12, 13 is where it gets rocky, because you're like, oh my God, 9 more days. But I've heard it's wonderful, so good luck.
Well, thanks for the vote of confidence. Okay, you guys, we've spent almost an hour, so I'm going to wrap it up. We'll see you guys on Facebook tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye.